Welcome to Iraqi Dinar Update, your go-to source for the latest news, expert insights, and real-time developments on Iraq's currency, economy, and financial reforms. Whether you're a long-time investor or just curious about the dinar, you're in the right place. The conversation between Mr. Sami and Frank touches on a complex but crucial aspect of Iraq's monetary reform, the deletion of the 3 zeros project, which has sparked considerable attention both within Iraq and internationally. While the phrase deleting the 3 zeros might seem straightforward, it actually refers to a multifaceted process involving changes in both the structure of the Iraqi currency and how it is perceived and exchanged, both domestically and abroad. To understand this process and the nuance in Mr. Sami and Frank's statements, we must explore what deleting the zeros means, why it's being done, and why there's a distinction between how it's applied inside Iraq versus outside the country. In Iraq, when financial experts or government officials talk about deleting the 3 zeros, they are usually referring to a redenomination of the national currency, the Iraqi dinar, IQD. Redenomination is a monetary policy tool used by countries that have experienced prolonged inflation or currency devaluation. In Iraq's case, the dinar has for many years been trading at a very low value against the US dollar, largely due to decades of war, sanctions, mismanagement, and economic instability. As a result, the currency now includes large denominations, such as 25,000 or even 50,000 dinar notes, which are cumbersome to use in everyday transactions and which do not reflect the true potential or productive capacity of the economy. The idea behind deleting the 3 zeros in Iraq is to simplify the currency structure by removing 3 zeros from the face value of the banknotes. For example, a 1,000 dinar note would become a 1 dinar note, and a 25,000 dinar note would become 25 dinars. This is not merely a matter of cosmetic change. When done properly, this kind of redenomination can help restore public confidence in the national currency, make accounting and pricing more efficient, and support broader economic reforms. However, this change must be carefully managed so that it does not lead to inflationary pressures or public confusion. Now, within the borders of Iraq, the process of deleting the zeros is primarily aimed at changing the accounting unit and the physical currency in circulation. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, which is the main authority behind this initiative, would issue new notes with lower nominal values but with the same purchasing power as the old notes. Essentially, if someone has 25,000 dinars today, and the new policy goes into effect, they would receive 25 new dinars, which would be equivalent in value to the old amount. This is typically done by lifting the zeros from the exchange rate itself. So, if the dinar is currently trading at 1,300 dinars to the dollar, the goal could be to adjust this rate to something more manageable, such as 1.3 dinars to the dollar, in parallel with issuing new currency. This would involve a recalibration of the entire monetary system. This domestic process is quite technical, and it requires the support of banking institutions, merchants, and the general population to work effectively. In country, the primary focus is on stabilizing the economy, reducing reliance on the US dollar, and building trust in the national currency. Once the zeros are removed domestically, all financial transactions, whether it's buying groceries, paying taxes, or signing contracts, would begin using the new units of currency. Prices would be recalculated accordingly, and the government would undertake a massive public information campaign to ensure people understand the transition. This dual-track system, one for inside Iraq and one for outside, is necessary due to the unique situation Iraq finds itself in. Most countries that go through currency redenominations do not have millions of foreign holders speculating on their currency's future value. But because Iraq is oil-rich, geopolitically significant, and has long been seen by investors as a country with huge untapped economic potential, there's a large amount of Iraqi dinar sitting in the hands of people in the United States, Canada, Europe, and elsewhere. Iraq cannot simply ignore this, but neither can it allow foreign speculation to dictate or destabilize its domestic monetary policy. It's also worth noting that the process of lifting the 3 zeros from the exchange rate, as Frank describes, is likely to be tied to broader financial reforms. These include restructuring the banking sector, digitalizing payments, improving financial transparency, and moving away from a cash-based economy. Iraq has already taken many steps in this direction, including working with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, modernizing its central bank operations, and integrating more fully into the international financial system. All of these efforts set the stage for a redenomination that could enhance the credibility of the Iraqi dinar both at home and abroad. Another layer of complexity involves how international financial institutions and foreign governments treat the dinar after the zeros are removed. For example, if a US bank is holding Iraqi dinar for investment purposes, how will it handle the transition to a new currency system? Will it recognize the new exchange rate? Will it allow clients to convert their high-denomination notes into new notes? These questions require careful coordination between Iraq and its global financial partners. That's why a successful deletion of the zeros project doesn't just involve issuing new notes, but also building confidence and clarity around how the transition will affect stakeholders both within and outside the country. The final point to understand is that this entire process is not just a technical financial adjustment, it is a political and psychological milestone. For many Iraqis, deleting the 3 zeros is a sign that their country is recovering from decades of instability and asserting control over its own economic destiny. For foreign holders, it's a moment of reckoning. Either their long-held dinars will be exchanged for something more valuable or stable, or they may discover that their speculation does not yield the windfall they anticipated. In either case, the dual nature of this policy, different for those inside Iraq versus those outside, is both necessary and logical, given the vastly different circumstances between these two groups. In conclusion, when Mr. Sami says that deleting the zeros in-country is different from doing it outside the country, and Frank affirms this by explaining the difference in how the notes and exchange rates are handled, they are highlighting an essential truth about monetary reform. It's never one-size-fits-all. In Iraq, deleting the zeros is a step toward normalization, economic sovereignty, and improved financial governance. Outside Iraq, it's a process of redeeming or absorbing speculative instruments in a way that aligns with national interests. The difference lies in the purpose, the method, and the audience, and understanding this distinction is key to grasping Iraq's broader economic transformation. Thanks for tuning in to Iraqi Dinar Update. If you found this content helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a beat on Iraq's evolving financial landscape. Stay informed and stay ready.